welcome back to Scale JDM Reviews. And on the bench today you can see we have the very elegant looking Toyota Century. Now for those of you that have never seen this car, you're probably looking at this box in front of me saying that looks pretty boring. Well, the Toyota Century is designed to be like the Rolls-Royce version of the Toyota. It's one of their flagship models. It shares the flagship role with the Toyota Majesta. It's the later version is actually powered by a V12, but this one is actually a V8, a 4-litre V8, but inside it is ultra luxury all the way through. I have only seen one of these in real life myself, and I can tell you it is absolutely huge. I was quite shocked when I saw it, to be honest. It just took the whole road up. It's amazing. This is actually going to be the first of 2 Toyota Century reviews I'm going to be doing on this channel. This is the standard version, as you can see, but I also do have a Junction Produce version of the Toyota Century as well, which I will do at a later date. So without further ado, shall we take a look inside the box? And there we go. A lot of bags, a lot of unpacking to do. Back in a moment. And there we are. There is a lot of parts in this kit, so we will take our time and go through them one by one. Okay, so the first thing we'll notice is that we have this chrome sticky back material here. Now this is for doing the edges of the windows, maybe the bottom sill of the car, things like that. So it's nice to have that, even if you don't use it, because you can use things like Molitor paints or maybe AK Interactive, Alcalad do chrome as well. But this is a nice mirror chrome just to make things a bit easier. Next up we have this material, which most people would probably just assume is rubbish or just to keep the chrome safe, but this is actually material for the curtains that will go inside the car. So once you've cut it down to size, give it a fold, and you've got yourself some really lovely looking curtains inside. Fantastic. On to the decals. Okay, so we have the number plates just here. We have the normal Japanese road legal symbols there. The hubcaps, centre caps for the hubcaps on this, or the wheels, sorry, on the car. And what looks to be like a stereo system or something like that inside the car. Just there. So decal wise, not very much to go on, but the car does speak for itself really. It doesn't need all the decals and stickers that a lot of cars would need. This has plenty of things to look at already. Right, now onto the first sprue, which is this one here, which probably at first glance looks a little bit strange. What this actually are, these are actually the parts that hold the curtains to the rest of the body of the car. So I guess they're like curtain rails, I guess, but they will hold the stuff in place once you build the inside of the body shell. We have here, I'm not going to take this out of the bag because I'll lose them. This is the suspension setup. Now the suspension on this car, even though the box looks very unassuming, the suspension on this car is adjustable. It's very similar setup to the Kiwami Crowns and Majestas and things like that. So you can have this car slammed to the ground if you really like to, or you could build it just as a normal kit if you want to, but you do have the option thanks to the Aoshima suspension system that they made for these cars. Next up, the first of the shiny chrome pieces, of course, we have the backlight panel just here, the grille, the actual headlights themselves. These are going to be in the bumper, these ones, and also the wing mirrors just there. What we have here also are we've got a couple of rear side emblems there. We have the front badge, which is there, and the like a little rear emblem that goes on the boot just there. Up next we have the bumpers with the housing for those smaller lights. We have the rear bumper just there, and we have the hubcaps for the centre of the wheels, and a few other body parts there, just small accents. We have the exhaust pipe just there, and this will go onto the back, just behind the rear wheel. It's like a chrome accent that goes along the back of the car. Okay, next up we go for the windows. So it's quite a chunky piece of window, this one, very easy to paint, of course. you've got the headlight lenses, obviously the backlights just there, got the indicators, fog lights, and even a third brake light I think there as well. Okay, and we have the chassis. Now, as you can tell by the screw sections here, you can see that the suspension is just like the Kiwami kits. Not really the static Kiwami kits like the SEMA and things like that, the Celsius and things. This is the early Celsius. It's more like the UCF 30s, UCF 31, the GRS 182 Crowns, 184s, and the UZS 186 Majestas. They all have this same suspension setup, and it just brings a whole new dimension to the car, because you can put whatever wheels on it. You can slam it down, you can change it however you want, or you can have it normal ride height, or even a little bit above that if you like it a bit further off the ground. The chassis itself is very well, nicely detailed, and it should look the biz once it's done. Okay, onto the suspension sprue. So you can see they have the wishbones, upper and lower wishbones here. These are adjustable, they are fully working. Once it's all put together, you will see in the instructions how that all fits together. It looks a little bit complicated, it looks a lot of parts, but I assure you, once you've done this a couple of times, it's dead simple, dead easy. A little bit fiddly, yes, but it's very easy to get it looking really, really nice. Okay, another suspension sprue. We have the brake discs, the normal spindles, the steering axles. Of course, they are made so that they can go up and down with the car. We have the rear subframe and the suspension, the adjustable parts here. These all do work up and down because of the springs as well. It does have physically working suspension, so you can press it up and down and it will bounce. It's not a static car by any means. You've got the front valance there, and what looks like either the rear tyre well or a fuel tank maybe. Next up, here we go. We have more suspension parts just here. We have an exhaust pipe, what looks to be some spacers there. We have the standard wing mirrors. We have a chassis attachment part that goes onto the front, and the rear exhaust just there. We have obviously the windscreen wipers and a front air dam by the look of it there. Blimey, it's like this kit's never ending, isn't it? So we will head on to the first of the interior pieces. This is the back of the seats, the steering wheel, the steering column, and the centre console. So I'm going to move these bits out of the way before we do the next part. And we have the interior. Now you see it's very, very spacious there. You've got lovely seats. It's moulded in typical Aoshima beige, but the doors and everything are really, really nicely detailed, so you can make them stand out really nicely. Dashboard, a little bit 60s, 70s for my liking, but obviously once you're in the car and it's all painted up, it will look pretty good. So next up we have the wheels. These are just obviously very small. They look maybe 15, 16-inch wheels. If I build the kit, or I should say when I build the kit, I won't be using these, of course, but it's good to see how they look in person. These are the original wheels, and you can see where the chrome centre caps would fit. Again, these are typical Aoshima female fitment, so you can put virtually any other wheel you want on it. There we go. Now these are the tyres. They are clearly very small. We have a set of polycaps in there as well, and a couple more screws. Now we're not going to take these out of the bag today, because I will end up losing them, but again, these tyres won't be getting used because I will put on a different set of wheels. Okay, last but not least, we have this very, very lovely body. It's a big kit. It's a big car in real life, so even by kit standards it's quite big, but the body is really nicely made. It's very detailed. I can't really see any mould lines on it. It would need sanding down. It's typical Aoshima quality, which is usually very, very good. I think I can just see a bit of the mould line across the roof line and down the bonnet here, but you can just imagine, obviously if you had this car and you were building it, you could put all sorts of wheels on it. So if we went here with some Ordens just like that, it would just look spectacular. So yeah, it's very nicely done. It would need a little bit of tidy up. You can see where the mould line comes down there. But yeah, pick a colour, choose a colour, get the interior done, get the curtains in. Stunning. Okay, onto the instructions. This is actually quite a thick booklet. So as you can see from the review of the kit, that the car isn't just this old kind of fuddy-duddy looking vehicle. It can be made into something pretty awesome if you like. Custom low sedans from Japan. So let's have a look and see how it's built, shall we? So straight away we have the picture of the standard car. It doesn't look very unassuming, but it's a nice looking vehicle regardless. Typical of what you'd expect to see for luxury in Japan. We're going to start off with the suspension. There you go. So you've got the paint codes for the chassis, how you want to build it, and then it's on to building the suspension. Now you've got the brake discs, you've got the steering hubs and the spindles. You attach everything with these little spacers or kind of circlip type looking things. They're plastic, quite delicate, but they are strong enough to hold, so you don't need to worry about that. Stick it all together and then you screw it into place just like that, and you can raise and lower the whole suspension unit, and then you can also raise and lower the individual wishbones. So you've got two levels or two styles of or two methods I should say of adjustment for the suspension there. The same goes for the back. Sorry, this is a big piece of paper. Same goes for the back. Obviously once you've put the wheels on and everything like that, you move on to the back suspension. Now you can see the springs, you've got the wishbones and everything in place. Again, the screws go in, and you've got the screws that attach to the rest of the body. Now this one is being held in place by these spaces just here, so it looks like the back will be fixed into place, but you don't have to do that. There are ways to get around it, and then you can adjust that as low and as high as you like. Next page we have the exhaust pipe going on, and the fuel cell, rear tyre thingamabob in the back. You've got these little, I should say they're kind of wedges in place, just like that, and what that'll do, that will stop the wheel cambering like that. It will keep it straight as it goes down, gets lower. Obviously when you lower a car, the wheels usually tend to bow in just like that. And then next is onto the interior. So if we go over to the next page, you can see that we have the steering column being set up. Obviously the paint codes for the steering column, the interior, which at this stage is pretty simple, it's pretty normal, and nothing out of the ordinary for Aoshima kits. You've got the whole front dash, the interior door cards, the seats and everything. And of course it's all going to be painted up. Next is the interesting bit. As you can see here, we have a template. Now if you notice, that is the same size as the curtain that we got earlier. So what you do is you put it on there, you draw, you should see these lines through that material quite easily. You draw on it and cut them out of the material, quite simple, and then you can start to place them with these bits just here. The grey here indicating is obviously the curtain material. Once that's done, you can get it all placed in the car and start on the exterior parts, of which there are a lot of. It's quite a detailed exterior. So you have the front bumper with the fog lights and indicators. You've got your chrome wing mirrors and things, windscreen wipers, and you've got your bumper, your headlights, grille, things like that. Now this is obviously a fairly modern car. This particular one, it being a VG45, is a 1990 onwards car. So it is still a very modern car, but it has very retro styling, which is why there's a lot of chrome on it. See the back bumper here. You've got the rear lights here, which is the bit that I thought was a third brake light, which technically it is. It looks like fog lights maybe, or brakes. There we go, there to shine through. And you have the rear light clusters just there. Okay, and onto the back. We put all the back bits on. You've got those chrome parts that go on the back door just there, the side ornaments there that go on the rear of the on the C-pillars, and then you put the whole chassis together and the rest of the car, and voila, all done. As you can see, here is a list of everything that's included in the kit. It is a lot of pieces. It is a very nice kit, and I can't wait to get it built, to be fair. There is nothing mentioned on there about anything that doesn't need to be included apart from those shorter spindles. Now, it's saying you don't use those because the suspension is the Kiwami style suspension, and it comes with its own spindles just there, which are slightly longer because the brake discs are slightly further in. So yeah, there we go. So I really do hope you've enjoyed this unboxing and review of the Toyota Century VG45. The kit was a lot more detailed than I first expected when I got it through. I'm really looking forward to making it. I'm a big fan of the Toyota Century, but it is not going to be box stock. I can tell you that now. It's going to look pretty nice. So I will leave that for another video. If you like the video, please comment and subscribe. If there's any other Japanese cars that you'd like to see on the channel, let me know and I'll see if I can get hold of them. Until then, take it easy.